Hey everyone, welcome to a very interesting video on the channel. It's Kat and Jaysinn here from the Afterlife Party, and we thought as a great way to sum up the last video of 2024, we thought we were going to look back across our entire channel and list or do a tier list of all the videos that we have dropped since we started this channel and kind of put them as under four categories. You got your C tier, which is, well, watch if you have nothing better to do. B tier, if you want to watch more, these are the ones we'd suggest. The A tier of watch this next, and top tier, S tier, watch this shit right now. That's what we've categorized these into, and we've never really spoken about our videos. So it's going to be very, very interesting how we do this. Yeah. We're going to be our worst critics, and, well, yeah, it's going to be difficult. That's all I can say, is it's going to be very difficult.
It is. It is actually, yeah, this is going to be really difficult, but I love that we're going to have the opportunity to actually talk a little bit about our videos, because we don't really get to share that.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we just put them out there into the world for everyone else to judge.
Yeah, exactly. And it might be interesting what you guys see as not a great video, we see as a great video, and then vice versa. It's going to be very interesting to see how we each. I mean, this is only our opinion. It doesn't mean anything's right or wrong. There is no right and wrong.
No.
But we obviously can talk a bit more from a behind the scenes and how it came about and the feelings on the day and what it did for the channel, and that's obviously going to come into play.
There's definitely some like really good favorites of ours that probably don't have as much love as well, that are just sort of undiscovered out there. So we might get to mention those. But also we do get asked, I think, a fair bit by people, like, what's your favorite video and what do you recommend watching? So this is a chance for us to share all of that with you guys. And, you know, you can agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
We shall.
We're starting off at the very, very beginning, the Swan View Tunnel investigation, where we got the disembodied breath. This is an interesting one because this was not filmed at all for Afterlife Party. This was literally filmed. I was streaming on Twitch, and I just filmed like an in real life video, and I wanted to put it on my YouTube channel for that. For that channel. This inception didn't exist. I hadn't even known you. We had never met. This one's an interesting one for me to comment because I wasn't there. I'm commenting purely as a viewer for this one. Yeah, and look, we didn't have any of the proper gear. I got a couple of tools because I was curious. Always loved the paranormal. Went out there and filmed, me, Kana, and Michael. We didn't film it as a proper investigation for anything because we didn't know there was going to be a sole channel for paranormal investigating. So it was not made for that. Therefore, it's filmed not great. And little known fact, I actually really don't like this video. And it's ironic because it had the disembodied breath at the end, which in fact across all our social platforms is the most viewed piece of evidence we've captured.
Yeah, the shorts of that piece of evidence, and even this video has done so well. And it's really funny because you always say how much you don't like this video. You're like, why do people keep watching this?
Swan View Tunnel, everyone, it's a base start for every paranormal investigator here in WA, so that's why it always does well. Where would you put it?
This is tricky. I'm going to have to put it at C. But I will mention that one really good thing that this video did for us, besides the viewership, is it was the first time that we did a voiceover of the history at the start.
Yeah.
Which I think you just did to buff it out a bit, really.
I did, because we only had 23 minutes of footage, and I managed to buff it out to 27, which was plausible.
Yeah, and using some drone footage and stuff like that, so
it set the tone for what the channel was going to become.
Yeah, we got such good feedback on that when it was released that that's something that we've incorporated, and that really defines a big part of what we do now. So
yeah, it was important.
It was important for our channel, but would I recommend it? No.
just watch the short of the bit of evidence.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Which brings us to our second video. Did we make contact with a documented family member at Cockman House? This is our first scout. Fun fact about the scouts.
Yeah, this one's quite meaningful for me because the scouting video was my idea. I think when we go to check out a new location, it's always fun for us to go and just have a look first at, you know, do we think that this is a cool place to investigate? What do we know about the history and stuff like that? And so we kind of decided, well, I thought, hey, let's take a camera with us and we'll just see what comes of it, because people can see a part of our process.
It was more like a vlog, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and it's an important part of our process. So I was like, well, there's no reason that we can't document that. And I think you put together the video and I was like, I love it.
Yeah, I put it together and it was a shorter one. We showed Michael and Shane, who were part of the team at that point in time. And Shane was like, wow, we could, like, that's actually come up really good. Because that was your brainchild and we went out and did two of them in that day. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. We can utilize this. And I don't see many people in the paranormal field do that.
No.
It showed that we are more than just paranormal investigations on this channel. We've got a bit of something different to our arsenal as well.
No, like, it really takes you guys on the journey of us actually learning as well. Like, we're not walking in there as if we know everything. We're just there to check it out and... Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this video, although it is very special to me, I still think I'm going to put it in the B tier. Yeah. Because we've come a fair way with our scouts since then. It was great at the time, but if you're looking at our content now, like, you know, if you want something more to watch, go for it.
But we also got the staff giving us a story, which was the coolest thing.
That was cool. And there actually was a couple of little bits of evidence there that were quite nice, and also a cool recipe for lemon cake, which I still haven't made. And
it's upsetting because we were so close. We were 90% across the line for this location.
I know.
And it was almost our first big break of a location, and it fell at the very end, which sucks. We almost got there.
Yeah.
But, which then, talking about almost getting there, I don't know how this video got there, and that is literally investigating my house.
Yeah.
The title is not a great title. We didn't really capture anything bar really learning the meaning of crapulous and capturing what could be a ghost fart. But that's the extent of it, and it's got like 2.6k views. It's the highest viewed video on the channel.
I don't understand that. It is probably the most overrated video on the channel. Yeah, no, it's... I wouldn't even bother, to be honest.
It was the first video that we actually used our phasms on the channel. It's the first one where you saw the phasms come into play, our static cameras.
And I think we put that up there early because it was a bit better film quality.
Yeah. And it took off, but it gained us. It gained us quite a bit of a following early on in the channel's growth.
Yeah.
It did really, really well, and we gained quite a few followership from that, which is interesting because it's not a great video, but I honestly have to put it C tier as an investigation.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think if you look at it then compared to now, it's great because those two videos show our arc of where we've come from.
Yeah.
But what's more interesting is we've got a scout in B and 2 investigations in C.
I know, of our first 3 videos, and 2 of those are 2 of our most highly viewed videos.
Yeah.
That's most of our views there.
Ironically.
Yep, and we've just chucked them in C tier. So, you know, if you're looking for good content, don't start there. The views are lying to you.
Which is funny because following the pattern we've got going, we come up to the Clackline Refractory Scout, which has a bit of scouting a location. We'd never been there. We got the drone up in the air and got drone footage. We also got to use equipment.
Yeah.
It was almost like an urban explore video as well.
We had a lot of fun there.
And 2 really cool pieces of evidence, all summed up into a video in 35 minutes, which is pretty damn cool.
This is tricky because this video, I think I like it a lot more than the Cockman House Scout, but I'm still not sure if I could put it in an A tier. I don't know.
No, for me, because it's the style, is it watchable? Definitely. Yes. But it's filmed on just one camera.
Yeah, and it does have one of my favourite pieces of evidence on the channel. And another one that's really good. So it's kind of... I'm wondering, would I put it in an A tier?
The EVP capture is what made us go back for a full investigation, and saying that they're going to flash the lights on one thing and then another piece of equipment happening as well.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
A tier, no. I feel like it's done on one camera walking around handheld, which vlogs are for, and it's more of a vlog video, so I'm more inclined to say it's B tier.
Yeah.
But it is...
I'm cool with that.
I do like it more than that. In fact, I'm going to switch that just because...
Because you want them in order.
I know what bugger. We could order them realistically, but let's not go that far in.
Yeah.
Let's just tier them, hey? Which takes us to our 4-part investigation of the Olive Estate.
Yes.
Which was our first investigation that we did with you.
Yep.
And with Shane. And after this video, we were like, we got some good stuff here. We can't release this first.
Yeah.
And it was because of that night that we formed the Afterlife Party.
Yeah, definitely.
So it holds a lot of significance. But kicking off the investigation, it's a bit of a tour of the place, as well as us sitting into the one room, and it only has Spirit Talker.
I'm gonna have to put part 1, I think, in C tier. What do you think?
Yeah, correct, because we only use Spirit Talker. It's more of a tour of the place and a bit of what's happened.
Yeah. It's a bit slow. We were finding our feet with it. Yeah.
But, however, it steps up a little bit in the second part. We go across to the venue while Michael and Shane stay at the tea rooms. We do know Shane and yourself were learning to film because you guys didn't even want to be on camera. You guys wanted to be behind the camera.
Yeah, which is obviously, that's not really an option in paranormal investigating. Everybody needs to be seen in the camera, so...
But we didn't have statics.
We were open to that, being seen on camera, but not really the main focus. So that was quite interesting, given that we didn't want to be on camera, but we'd also never filmed before.
Yeah, so some of the filming was left a little bit to be desired. We filmed a few plates and teacups over at the tea rooms. Thanks, Shane.
I filmed the chairs.
You filmed the chairs. But we managed to scrape a video out of it. Look, I mean, it's, it's an unknown venue, never been done before. It's essentially a tea rooms in the Swan Valley. Really cool location for us. It always feels like home for us when we're there.
Very special location.
To us. And this is the part where we actually picked up the names Helen, which comes back full circle. Now, the story of Helen really played on all of our emotions that night, and even after we were asking questions about Helen and what was going on. But
I think the story of Helen takes off. Oh, that does start in part 2, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yep, sorry.
And then, we didn't get all too much activity except you feeling faint and I had to take the camera off your hands.
Yeah.
I honestly do like this. It follows the story.
No, that's in part...
No?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Getting mixed up. It happened twice. I was thinking that's in part 3. No, it happened in part 2. That was scary, yeah.
I haven't actually put this B tier. It follows the story and it starts the story.
Definitely.
It's not right at the bottom. Although some of the filming was a little bit odd, the story keeps pace.
Yeah. The story of this one is really good, and I think I'd probably say the same for part 3.
Yeah, part 3. It follows the story. We do get a cool bit of evidence with you feeling headspace or lightheaded in the hallway with the motion sensor going off, and getting an "it was me" on our audio of our camera as well, capturing that. It's like it was
3 bits of evidence that all just happened at the same time.
That puck light going off in the house when I'm not in it.
Yeah.
That's Michael and Shane also captured cat ball activity. It's the first time we saw our cat balls go as well. So there is evidence there, but just based on the fact we didn't have statics and other ways of filming, it's got to be B tier.
Yeah, it's just not as watchable, guys. That's pretty much it. Like, the rest of it's there, but it's just not as watchable. So, if you want something more to watch on the channel, after you've watched all the best stuff, go for it. Like, it's worth a watch.
Olive Estate tells a story through all 4 parts. That's the most important thing. You can't watch part 2 or part 3 separately. You've got to kind of follow that story.
I think so.
You
can probably get away with skipping part 1.
But
maybe
2, 3, and 4,
yeah,
you've got to do it. And going to 4, it's literally our spirit board session, and that was insane.
Yeah.
It tied a lot of the equipment we had on other devices all came together, and I know people question the spirit board and can it be faked? Yes, it can. However, that actually made us go to the library and try and find out more information. We can say that some of the names that we have come through there are actually documented in some of those books. In the library. As real people. Which is crazy.
Which we're yet to put out a video on that, actually, tying together the Oliver State story, but I hope to do that one day. This video of the spirit board, I actually really love this video.
I don't know, all its time, it never really took off with the other videos of Oliver State.
Yeah, the views are not there, but if you are even a little bit curious about the spirit board, please check out this video because it
deserves more love. It deserve
really does.
More love.
Like, I'm tempted to put this one in an A tier because it's a good video, and we do talk about the way that what we're getting on the spirit board is actually stuff that we've picked up earlier in the night.
On different devices.
Yeah.
And may I say, some of that we picked up, it was me and Shane on the board, which meant two different people that were separated for the majority of the night.
Yeah.
And yet information came through that they didn't even know of.
Yeah.
So...
because we didn't share everything when we swapped locations.
I agree. I think it goes A tier.
Yeah.
And I would say it might be borderline on B tier based on the fact of how it's filmed. We didn't have the statics and the way we could do things, but wrapping the entire thing up, I think A.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Lower A tier. Definitely.
Lower A tier, but A tier.
Yeah.
And then we head to the Newcastle jail for our scout.
Oh, of course.
This is when we met Barry, who is an absolute legend. Love Barry. Absolute hero. But
this one did okay. Like, I think with us returning to 2J and putting out more 2J videos, this video keeps climbing in numbers.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a scout. Like, this one's still climbing.
It still climbs. Cool. It still climbs, which is cool. I think the cool thing about this is there wasn't much investigating. There was a bit of spirit talk at the end because we went in the visiting time. Now, when we did go and film this, we actually didn't have that secured as a location.
No.
We didn't. We went there in hopes of getting it, but when we filmed that scout, we thought, we're not going to get it, but just to get a video at the Newcastle jail in 2J would be great for our channel. And we got a pretty kick-ass video. We got to play in the slots. We got to check out the cells. It was a lot of information. We like our history. Yeah. It showed a lot of that. It's a one-camera walk around, but not the worst. I'd be happy sitting it in kind of mid-B tier, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. It's still climbing for the channel. It's got a lot of history with the location.
Yeah, it's definitely one we didn't pull out any equipment at this scout, so it is
at the end. Spirit talk at the end. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Forgot about that. Wasn't for much though, was it?
No, barely.
Okay, cool. Any. Barely any. So, you know, but if you're really interested in the history side of things and just seeing our process, seeing us go and explore and learning with us, then it's a really good one for that.
Yeah.
Next up. Oh, our shadow figure?
Yeah, Freemasons Hotel in 2J.
Freemasons Hotel. Wow.
You've probably heard me over the channel speak about our night at the Freemasons Hotel. And that is this video. I was going through treatment for cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, energy-wise, I was all in mentally, but the body was struggling to keep up.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. We had an opportunity. I think this was our very first actual known location we ever filmed at, and we kind of got the place to ourselves that night.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity that just came to us, and we were like, oh my god. And I believe we filmed this the night before our channel's first video went up. As we were driving back from 2J the next day, the video dropped. Our first investigation dropped. So we filmed this on the day our video, like the night before our video dropped.
Yeah, that was pretty cool actually.
It's still going really well, and I can't wait for the day that this does hit 1K views, because it really deserves it. We picked up the shadow figure that we tried to debunk, a loud hiss on the stairs, feelings were off, being told to leave, catball activity going off, weird light anomalies. It had a lot.
It had a lot. And it was really interesting because we just did not know how much. When we were there that night, we were kind of like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know how this is going to go. Have we even got much evidence?
The hiss was that loud, the Phasm picked it up, which doesn't have proper microphones or anything on them. So.
Then the shadow figure, which of course we didn't see with our own eyes at the time, which is creepy as fuck. You can imagine our reactions when we saw that on the footage later on. And just spending day after day trying to debunk it and not being able to. Yeah,
it's...
As for how the video came together, I would say this one would have to be a A tier.
A tier. I reckon. Yeah, comfortably A tier. It's got our shadow figure in it. Well deserving, I guess.
And it's a good to watch. Like, it's nice
to
watch. It flows. It's good.
It tells a story. But we had to stay there tonight because we booked to stay the rooms. And the second part, which is the next video, which was the next morning, where we filmed looking all absolutely fucking disheveled because we had 4 hours sleep collectively. Stuff happened that night while we were asleep. We had the Phasms on. This is a video that I feel really people sleep on this video.
Yeah.
It's us just telling the stories of what happened, and we turned some devices on the next morning because we never investigated the room we slept in.
Yep.
And we had some insane accuracies on the Spirit Talker. Yep. And we captured, even at 10 a.m. in the day, some audibles of walking around and talking outside our room at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And
there is no one else in there.
There was nobody else in that hotel.
We show on that video. I walk out there. It shows that we may have captured the heater moving across the table.
One of my absolute favourite pieces of evidence is the heater moving all by itself. We were in bed. Like, there is just no way.
Not only did it move.
No way.
Not only did it move by itself, it turned itself on by itself too.
Yeah.
So, in fact, in a room where someone had actually got burnt alive.
Yeah.
So the heater turned on. So that's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
We do look disheveled, but you know what? I think it shows some really good evidence.
It does.
And I'm inclined to actually put it in A tier.
Same, hey.
Yeah.
That video, I don't know why part 1 got the views. Part 1's nearly at 1,000. That one's like creeping up to 500. And, I think they're on par with each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Which goes to our scout we dropped for Connor's Mill. This one was hard because we dropped this, I think the day of this drop was the 31st of December last year. So it's probably the worst time to drop a video, but we drop every 2 weeks, so it is what it is. And it just obviously didn't get the viewership. Also a scout, but all the machinery and all that's on. We can't turn that off.
Yeah.
So it's just noisy. It's really hard to follow. We were hearing footsteps at the time behind us, but you can't really get it picked up much because of the noise happening in the mill.
There was a little bit of cool Spirit Talker, but again, like, it was very difficult to do. And I think that really sort of showed in the video.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to put it in a C tier.
Yeah, me too. C tier. Yeah. It's
unfortunately.
But it was enough for us to go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next video is the investigation at my parents' house or my childhood home. Interesting one. Because growing up I had a lot of questions, and in that video they still didn't get answered.
No.
But stuff happened there that was weird. It's the first and possibly only time that our motion sensor may have actually gone off.
Yeah, that was really
without
cool.
an explanation in the front room.
So if you haven't seen that video, but you have seen all the others where I have those really annoying doorbells that like sing songs at us constantly.
Cat loves them.
I love them. Yeah, they actually went off in that video, so
yeah, it's very interesting. We also did get we went in the Estes. We each had a turn of going in Estes.
Yeah.
And
was that our first Estes?
No, not our first Estes, but our first time all 3 taking turns in doing it.
Okay.
We did the split as well with the stills experiment. Well, not a lot of evidence was captured. However, it was put together okay, and the Estes was pretty cool. I'd say a B tier.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
same.
say C tier. It was.
I will say
well.
it's quite watchable though. Like,
it is watchable.
The filming's good. We've got the static cameras, but it's probably just not.
And also relatable for those who have spirit activity in their houses.
Actually true, yeah.
So, you got that.
If you do have any spirit activity in your own home, this is probably quite an interesting one.
Yeah, of how to deal.
Yeah.
Point Perrin. I love this video. This video became like a nature documentary. Fun fact, 2 hours before this video was filmed, we were jumping out of a plane 15,000 feet in the air.
Yes.
We skydived literally 2 hours before filming this video.
Like, legit, hey?
Like, legitimately.
We looked so scrappy because just wind blown. But to go skydiving, we had to go, like, over an hour drive from where we live. And so...
And we were skydiving over Rockingham Beach. We were like, well, Perrin's this way. Do we go check Perrin out?
So we took some cameras with us and we're like, you know what? We'll go check out Point Perrin because it's on the list of investigation locations that we would love. So, yeah, we went and checked it out. And I think we were feeling a little bit, what do you call it? Like, just from, like, the heat. A bit silly from the heat kind of thing. Yeah. Which made for a really fun video.
Yeah, it was 37 degrees that day too.
37 degrees, and we were just going a bit loopy in the heat, I think, and from the adrenaline, so...
You straddling heavy artillery,
we...
finding all the animals, the landing pad on my ass. We
Yep.
actually did a bit of investigating as well.
Yeah.
Asking you to move out the way, and you smashed me with the branches of the tree. Because it was smacking in my face. Then I walked into a tree.
Oh, we did our best ever merch ad as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was
it? Unfortunately, we don't sell our bags anymore, but yeah.
You know what? It was fun. It's not A tier, but it's not C tier. It was a good fun video. We did a bit of investigating. There was a lot of humor. I think that's the first scout where our characters really, of who we are and the fun side of us really came out that day.
Yeah. Definitely worth watching. Would I put it up high as a paranormal investigation video? Yeah, probably not, but definitely chuck it in B tier. I think it's a high B. I put that one as a B+.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, we move on to these two videos which have done insanely well, and one that I can't believe we actually got this location, and that's Ravenswood Hotel. When we got the Ravenswood Hotel, I couldn't believe it. This was one of the ones of, oh my god, you know, have we done that? I don't think there's any investigations of the Ravenswood Hotel out.
Yeah.
And this gained a lot of popularity with the community of WA. A lot of people really dug this. Not to mention it actually being discovered by descendants of Thomas Peel and Adam Armstrong. That had significance with that location, and descendants had actually found that and gave us information. Yeah,
descendants from both families, which was pretty incredible. I was really surprised by this, I think, because, you know, I'd heard of Ravenswood Hotel, but I didn't realise just how much of a following that this would get. Yeah. It was actually a really cool response. And thankfully, it was also a really cool video. So
yeah, this one we had the footsteps and the walking on carpet towards me. It's so obvious. We got some disembodied stuff. The staff came in and got involved. They had their own personal stories. Even Nathan, the security guard, got involved and helped us out. We had some real dark communication, which doesn't surprise me in some sense.
Yeah.
But for setting up before part 2 where we go upstairs. But honestly, I wouldn't put it S tier. I would put it A tier.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for both parts here. Then the second part where we got so much accurate communication.
Yeah.
Catballs going nuts. Footsteps around. Like, they were very accurate evidence videos.
Yeah.
They were on point.
I love a video that tells a good story as well.
Ravenswood.
Like, I'm not just there for the, you know, oh, a cat ball went off when it shouldn't have, or like this happened or that happened. Like, when it comes together, and like you get the pieces of the puzzle, it's something that's historically accurate, or a bunch of things are telling you a story. I love that, and I feel like that happened in part 2.
Yes.
But not part 1.
So would you put part 1 as B tier and part 2 as A tier?
I'm tempted to put part 2 in our S tier.
So would you put part 1 in A tier and part 2?
Part 1 in A and part 2 in S.
You know what? That's a shout, because part 2, the accuracy of our evidence, and when you look at it, like, we get evidence of the paranormal through our videos, like we do. However,
just historically accurate the entire way through, and just stuff that can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Evidence that points to what previous investigators have found, what the staff have reported, just the whole lot, hey? And it is a pretty solid video from start to finish, which is, I think, where part 1, is lacking a little bit. It's got some really good parts, but I don't think it's a solid video necessarily from start to end.
Cool.
Part 2 is. And it's interesting that the viewership actually does reflect that on these two, because part 2 has always been a bit higher in the views than part 1, although I can see that part 1 is catching up. Part 1's nearly at 1,000.
Nearly at 1,000, and part 2's at 1,000. So these videos really...
Part 2 took off first, though, which is really unusual.
It did. But people love Ravenswood, and I think it should reflect... That reflects.
Yep. And while we're talking about Ravenswood, of course, we have to give a shout out to the staff of the Ravenswood Hotel.
I know, Jade and Anika, and also Nathan to help us that day. They were on fire. They had no idea they were even doing that night. Yeah,
we could not have asked for some better guest investigators, hey? Because those guys, they just picked it up, and without them, that video would not have been the video it is. And they did such a great job, and we can't thank them enough.
Yeah, so... Then, funny enough, we head to Sunset Hospital for what was meant to be a scout. That's the first time we met Paranormal Perth.
Yes,
and Nikki and
I will
team.
say was exactly 1 year ago today.
1 year ago today of filming this video.
Yes.
Yeah. We met them, which would be, we filmed this. Wow, crazy.
I
know. This is a video that one thing happened in this that has never happened on any other videos, and it's something you hear about as a possibility but you never think it's actually going to happen, is physically being choked out by a spirit and you having zero control. It's something I heard about and always thought, but can it really? Can it really? And having it happen to me is something that I go, I cannot explain this.
It was scary, hey? Like, it was really scary being there, because it was happening to you, but even as a bystander, you're kind of going, what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I deal with this? So it really tested us, I think, as investigators as well, to be like, how do we manage? How do we deal with this situation? And I think we dealt with it quite well.
I think we did, but it...
And that does show in the video.
It also got good REM pod activity. The animals going near the REM pod and being scared was pretty funny as well.
Was it the possum that was getting scared by the REM pod?
Yeah.
It was actually adorable.
And then the gecko pops its head up through the table if you don't see the gecko.
There's a mouse under the table too.
Yeah, a little phasm. The gecko just slides his head up and he's just looking around like, if you didn't realise him. Look, it was fun. Wildlife. It was not in... Like, we didn't know we were going there and filming an investigation. We didn't know.
No.
So, for us, it was like okay, cool, we're here now. We're going for it. But
I think you found the video quite difficult to put together.
Yeah.
With a lot of people on location. But the final video, you did a great job. Because it's a really good video.
It was a very difficult one to put together. When you have 5 spirit talkers on and all up one corridor.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, never again. But
we learnt a lot.
We did. Did it have a good piece of evidence in? Yes. Did it come across okay in the filming at the end of the day? Yes, it did. Was it popular with our audience? Yes, it was.
I've got to put it in A. Like, this isn't about what our audience think. It's about us.
But we had good feedback on it as well. That's the thing.
We did have good feedback.
It's like, I'm just backing up your comments about saying it was put together well.
Yeah.
I think it does go in A tier.
I'd put it in A tier because it's really nice to watch.
The thumbnail says everything you need to know about that video.
It's an enjoyable watch. Stuff happens. Check it out.
It's fun as well. We have some fun moments in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Our return to the Oliver Estate.
I'm actually just going to take a moment here to realise that we only have one video in our highest tier right now.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, I think that shows that some of our later stuff has changed compared to what it used to be. And I think that comes with experience.
Yeah.
You know? The fact we've only got 4 videos in C tier actually says something as well.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I thought that was quite interesting. We've gotten this far in. I don't even know how many videos that is. I can't count that quickly. But we'd be nearly 20 videos in there, I think. And we have only put 1 in our highest tier. That's half our videos so far.
Yeah.
We're harsh critics.
Yeah, we are.
All right, let's see. That means that all the good stuff is still coming up, so keep watching.
Yeah. Return to Oliver State. I'm going to break the fourth wall here. We filmed this so much earlier than here.
Oh, yeah. And it actually kind of shows in the filming.
Because you'll notice that the Phasm cameras just disappear from the channel for this video.
I also lose my piercings.
Yeah, you lose your piercings.
Yeah.
However, we get some pretty cool spirit box stuff. And one of the only videos that really has standout spirit box. And it is a proper back and forth conversation. Like, it is on point.
This is... Just remind me, this is only 1 part, isn't it?
Yes.
All of Return to.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
because we were planning on having the venue.
Yep.
And then the venue was taken away at the last second. So we ended up with 5 of us in the tea rooms. And you guys you and Michael went down to the playground.
Yeah. And we finished with the spirit board.
Yes, correct.
Yes, cool. Which was one of my favourite spirit board sessions again as well. Possibly better than the last one.
Yeah, I was being very targeted on that spirit board that video.
You were, but the part where you weren't being very targeted and we got amazing evidence was cool.
Yeah, we actually had the name James Sterling come through on our device, which is insane.
I think under any other circumstances, I would be sitting there just going bullshit. But because we even went away after that. No, right before we did our return to Oliver State, Jaysinn and I went to the library in Guildford. To look up a lot more of the history of the area because we still had so many questions that were unanswered from the first one. So we went and had a look, and that's where we found out about all the connections of Captain James Sterling. We found out who Elizabeth Irwin is, and all of these names, some of the names that had come up in our first one. Then the second time on the return to, we were getting last names, we were getting dates, we were getting way more information that we were just like, holy shit. And I want to note, we didn't tell Michael Shane about any of that. We also, Kana knew nothing. She just
Kana didn't even know, because we filmed that before we even put up the Oliver State investigation on the channel. We filmed this before we even uploaded a video on the channel. So Kana came in not knowing a single thing, and what she picked up on was what other people have picked up on without ever being there. So
it was cool, and the fact that, you know, those historically accurate things came through the spirit board, that Jaysinn and I were sitting there going, oh my god, but we hadn't shared our findings from the library with Michael and Shane, and like, it was amazing. Actually, I really like this video, even though the filming is probably still not up there with our newer stuff.
It's high B, but I think it's B.
I'm tempted to put this one in an A, just because there's a lot in it.
Actually,
we've got that spirit box too. The spirit box stuff is amazing.
Spirit box stuff is amazing. Also, the intro of actually the interviews with all 4 of us talking about our last visit, which was nothing we've done before.
Yeah.
I would say high B, you're saying A. If I'm saying high B and you're saying A, let's throw it at the A, but it will be end of A, to be honest.
It's a low A, but it's definitely an A, I think.
And then we head to the Kalamunda History Village, where we actually filmed quite a bit this day, unbeknownst to us. But this is just our wander around. This is the one where Kat played hopscotch, got hit by a train. Said, I don't know how to drive a train. So buggering around. Don't know if I can be on this, and proceeds to climb on it.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to climb the train.
Proceeds to climb the train and screw around with all the levers. But it was fun. And we had Lisa from the Kalamunda History Village with us, telling us some stuff that had happened.
Yeah.
We got a tour of the place. It was actually a fun video.
It was a really fun video to make.
No investigating. It was hot as hell as well. It was really hot, because we filmed that in summer. It was
really close to Christmas. It was right before Christmas.
Yeah. So I like it. It's a B tier for entertainment. It's not a C tier because it was awful.
Yeah.
But there was no investigating. If you want a fun historic walkthrough of the hills area in Perth, it's a good watch. But it's actually an easy watch. But
it is.
There's no investigating going on. It's
At the end of the day, we're a paranormal channel. If we weren't a paranormal channel, then I might put that video right in an A tier. But you know, at the end of the day, we're a paranormal channel with history. So yeah, if you're after paranormal activity, you're not going to find it there, but it is an awesome video to watch. So check it out.
This next one, and I've just noticed it's actually now hit 1.3k.
Oh, that's just ticked over, hasn't it?
That's just ticked over. Nangara Pine Plantation. This video was a roller coaster beforehand, being there, after, and then we relived the roller coaster once we put it out as well.
Yeah.
This was a very cautious video because we wanted to make sure we got the right point across.
Yeah.
We weren't going there just to communicate with the person from the memorial.
Yeah.
We were there to investigate anyone. And getting what we got at the memorial site and making sure like that isn't the main focus of what we're doing. And also because we know it's a spot where it's very emotional for people, that people have passed away out there. A lot of people have passed away out there.
It was a big reality check for us when making a video, I think, because up to that date, a lot of the sort of the spirits that we dealt with were spirits of people who had died quite a long time ago. Like, it was viewed as history. And in this video, putting it together, we realized that there was a lot more sort of recent deaths that had happened there, and it really brought that reality into the forefront, that it's like, these are people who have families that are going to be watching this. And
yeah, not only that, we had personal connections to people who have passed away at the Pines too.
True. It really brought that realness into... I think we're aware of that when we're doing an investigation, but putting a video out there in particular about just being really respectful about how we present that.
That is honestly one of
the emotions that it's going to bring up for people.
That is honestly one of the emotional videos we've got. We've had feedback from that video actually made people cry. And when we watched it back in its full entirety, it was quite emotional even watching it back. Yeah. And still is for me in a way.
I think I'm starting to get emotional just talking about it. I'm like, oh my god.
My eyes are starting to water. Like, I'm not kidding.
On that note,
it's got to be S tier.
That's got to be an S tier. Yeah, watch this shit right now, people. If you have not seen it, please check that one out.
That is a very important one to me personally.
Yeah.
Because I had to, when I was editing that, like, I was almost in tears multiple times putting that together, and that's no shout of a lie. That was a different one to put together.
Really cool evidence too, though, right from the start. Like, just you know, a spirit telling us, you know, which direction to go. I was buried right down the road. Yeah, down there. Yeah, I was buried, and then it's like, where? Just down the road. In which direction? To the right, and stuff like that was just... Yeah, nods to fires, which is true. Yeah. That weird duck noise that was travelling way faster than a duck could travel. And seeing you and Kana just hide behind me. I'm like, bruh. We were so spooked out, and then it turns out that we're pretty sure it was a duck in a fox's mouth. Probably. Yeah. That is literally the only explanation I can come up with. It was definitely not paranormal. But it was scary as hell. Just seeing you and Kana slowly stand behind me, and I just go, yeah, we're alright. I couldn't confirm whether or not we were alright. And we even had the helicopters circling above. Yeah. And poor Kana was like freaking out. She's just like, oh my god, the cops are coming for us. We're allowed to be out here. It was almost like a Black Hawk helicopter just circling us. It had nothing to do with us. It had nothing to do with us. No. We were allowed to be there. Yeah. 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 So it's not like we were breaking any rules. No. All of the places we filmed at, we've had permission. Let me just say that. Like, we've not ever gone and just rocked up somewhere we're not supposed to be. So. Yeah. Moving on to Chambers' house in Kalamunda History Village. This was interesting because Lisa actually turned the power off to the location and let us actually go in there for an hour or power out. Yep. We filmed this on the same day we did the Kalamunda History Village tour, and we didn't expect to actually be filming anything investigation-wise. And it turns out that, you know, the Kalamunda History Village is extremely quiet in December. So we had that location to ourselves, which is how we were able to get the power turned out and all of that. So, yeah, if you want to get, you know, an exclusive tour of it, check it out in December.
But remember, don't just go and use equipment.
No.
We got permission from Lisa.
Yes, we had permission to use our equipment there and to film.
And this scout is very interesting because a lot of the stuff that we had been picking up on previously, on our investigations and a bit of our own story with a potential attachment.
Yeah.
A lot of that questioning really sparked from this video.
Yeah.
Is it filmed very well? No, it's one handheld camera. We had no phasms out there that day.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We did get not evidence to the location, but we sure got evidence to our follower. It was very on point, but I feel like this still...
I was going to maybe say A tier for this, but now I'm not so sure.
No, it's B tier.
Yeah, now that you've said that, of course, we didn't have a second camera angle, which does kind of detract from the watchability a little bit, I think. Yeah, it just, you know, a lot of that handheld makes it a bit disjointed. And I will say, though, that if you are following the story of our follower, our potential follower,
that's the one.
Our potential attachment, check that one out. A lot of the pieces come together of what had already happened, and it keeps you know, stuff that continues happening. And you'll hear us often nod to that during investigations. Yeah. We try not to draw too much attention to it because it's not something necessarily that we think is attached to the location. Yeah. We have a feeling there's something else going on, and that video really
shows it.
Yeah.
Talking about like things that are like the forefront of the investigations, we head back to Oliver State.
Yay!
We go back there for the venue that we didn't get on the last return to Oliver State, and this is where we pick up our full-bodied apparition.
Yes.
Which I think is an insanely good capture. However, it's on the back of a video where that's the only thing we really kind of capture.
Yeah.
There's a few nods to when we were at the Oliver State previously, but the figure being right at the end, you've really got to sit through that video to really get it.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
But
and it's not a bad video. It's just that not a lot happens in the whole first part of it. And how long's the video? It's only about an hour, isn't it? Or is it?
It's 50 minutes.
50 minutes, yeah. So it's not a huge amount of time to sit through, guys. But I think just because of that, I'd have to put it at an A tier because it's one of the most incredible pieces of evidence we've ever captured. Yeah. It deserves to be up there. Oh, hell
but because you've got to
and it's not bad to watch. It's filmed well enough. It's nice enough to watch. It's just that the first part just really doesn't have that much evidence. Or it doesn't tell a story. Stuff happens. I've got to say that. I love all of our videos because stuff happens. But, you know, the ones that are getting those higher ratings, there's really got to be a bit of a story going on, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Something consistent.
And then you got part 2, where we do the 3-way split. It's the first time on the channel we did a 3-way split where we can all talk. We got that idea of Twin Paranormal. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we saw them do it. And we gave it...
Yeah. Never decide to watch our content.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty busy with something else now, but...
But it's like, we say that like we got the inside scoop. It's like we know what they're up to. Like,
I mean, I think everybody knows what they're up to. You just have to check out their channel.
But this one, we did a 3-way split. You and Boo, the EMF. Now, keep in mind, this was a location that we had the ability to turn all the power out to.
Yes.
So if you're sitting there wondering why we're using so much EMF here, we had 0 power running to that whole building. We turned it all off. And we had the weirdest EMF stuff.
We had the best EMF stuff. We had
a full 5 spikes.
Yeah.
Like full 5 spikes. Like,
multiple times.
Yeah, in the red.
And it wasn't just at random either. It was when asked. Like it was direct response kind of thing. Yeah. As well. And in more than one room.
Yeah, we also picked up some disembodied stuff, some really loud footsteps, cat ball going absolutely ballistic. Mm-hmm. Possibly a bit of spirit box. And the best part was being scared the shit out of by a rooster. It was all in there. It was all scattered throughout the entire video. You know, it's an hour worth of stuff happening.
Solid video, start to finish.
Amusing at times, a bit of fun in it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I really liked this video.
Same. This has got to go on S tier for me.
I actually tend to agree. It was fun from the start. Normally you have investigations where, like, you kind of you wait for pauses and stuff happens. This was just everything was happening.
Yeah.
It was active from the start. It was active until the end. It's fun.
And interestingly, so far, the first 2 videos on our S tier, we've got one that's got 1,000 views, the other one's 1.3k. This one has 238 views as of today. And that makes me so sad.
So there you go. Check it out, guys. Check it out.
And while we're talking about that as well, the full-bodied apparition, like 482 views. Yeah, like that's a pretty amazing capture. I don't even care if you want to fast forward to halfway through the video, because there is a story in it, but it's not till the end.
Yeah.
Like, check that shit out too, hey. It's really awesome. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Yeah, we'd love to hear it. Yeah. I don't know sometimes if these videos, if it's the location, I guess. Oliver State is just such an unheard of place. But, yeah. Check it out.
Yeah. We tried something new with this one. This was McCullough's Cottage, also filmed after Chambers' house on the same day as Kalamunda History Village.
Yeah.
We literally put the title as something completely random just to test the algorithms. Disclaimer, no butter was churned into making this video. We did want to put how much could a butter churn if a butter churn could churn butter, but it would not fit.
How much butter could a butter churn if a butter churn could churn butter?
I can't believe I just did it on the first go.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe. But we just were like, let's send it, see what happens. And funny enough, it had a really weird, loud noise in that one that we couldn't explain.
Yeah.
It had a few things happening in there. Cat ball goes off in there, I think.
Cat ball, yep.
With the marble sheet as well was interesting. A few interesting things in there, but I think I've got to put it alongside Chambers. But I'm more inclined to say it's lower than Chambers.
Same, yeah. I think of all of our scouts, this one probably just was
the least most powerful.
Yeah, the least interesting, I think.
And that makes sense, because these two right here, that one was really noisy, and that one was relatively quiet and filmed on just the one camera. It makes sense that those two sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just nothing special. Like, if you have run out of content and you want to watch something, feel free.
Watch people just watch that constantly now and just like try and up its numbers to just take over everything else, because we're like, oh yeah, C tier.
I mean, if you must.
And then we head to Clackline for our full investigation. This was really cool.
It was really cool.
It's an insanely cool location.
Yeah.
It's just...
It was such a good night, hey? Like, just... The location is amazing.
You can't see anything in front of your face if there's no light on you.
Eerie as all hell, and I think that comes across in the video. Like,
yeah, we actually get some real dark communication with demon and demonic coming through here, and the possibility of asking us to conjure up activity.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to even think about. The location makes the video look good.
Walked away with so many questions as opposed to answers, but I still felt like there was bits of story through it, hey? There was consistency.
Sure. I mean, didn't grab a ton of evidence, but the evidence that was there was quite powerful. Is it S tier? If it's going S tier, I think it's because the location sells the story. But I think if you're going by what evidence we have captured in S tier to evidence we captured in this, I think it falls in A.
Yeah, I think overall I've got to put it in A. That's for part 1, hey?
Part 1.
What about part 2? Because
part 2 is where we go to
less happens in part 2.
Part 2 we go to the creepy house.
Yes. Oh, the creepy house is pretty cool.
The creepy house is really cool.
It kind of drops away after that a bit, though.
We go back across the way to the further ones where we do the spirit box. you've got your back to the complete darkness. We go into what looks like an auto shop, or what could have been an auto shop.
Yeah.
And then we go back to where we started at the furnaces.
And that part is pretty cool. Again, right at the end, it's quite good. So
I honestly would say B tier for this one, because this one had us trying to make up ground all over the place.
Yeah.
We kind of felt ourselves shifting. The creepy house was really cool.
Yeah. It was like such a huge location.
But
we didn't want to leave any part uninvestigated. Like, we wanted to make sure that we got around to everywhere.
And we were out there till God knows what time in the morning. We'd been on our feet for almost 9 hours or something, walking around there.
Probably the longest that we've ever been on our feet investigating from start to finish.
Yeah, because we got there and filmed all the pickup shots and drone shots and stuff like that as well, before the sun went down.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
That one was brutal.
So...
But it is a B tier based on what was captured, and it does quieten down until the very end.
It's a very high B though, I will say, because it's watchable. Like, it's still a really enjoyable video to watch.
It is. It is, yeah, for sure. And then the bloopers of Clackline. Now, it was hard for us to advertise this video of what was going to go in this place of this video, because we were coming up to our 1 year stream. Was
this just Clackline bloopers? Or was this...
this is just Clackline bloopers, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Because we had our 1 year birthday stream coming up, so we didn't want to advertise another location, because it was just like, well, we're going to be advertising two things at the same time, so we
were very busy working on that as well.
Yeah, so we split up the bloopers for
which, funnily enough, I think, Jason, when you put this together, you weren't really planning on it being a video.
No.
Jason actually put it together for us to watch, for me and Grazer, because I think when you were pulling apart, when you were making the video, there were just so many little funny bits, and you were like, oh, you know what, I'm going to put this aside, I'm going to put this aside, and then you're like, watch this. And parts of it obviously made it to our 1 year birthday stream as well. But you were kind of just like, it was more just for fun for us as a team to watch back all the dumb shit that we do and say.
And we ended up utilizing it.
Yeah.
So that was just bloopers from the one investigation. And it goes to show the fun side that we do have behind the scenes. It's pretty damn cool.
It didn't do too well, but that's okay.
You know what? Based on the fact of what else we got up on the channel, it's going to go in C tier for me. It was funny, but it was kind of I don't know if saying an afterthought was the best thing, but it was a filler.
C tier. I would put it a fair bit higher up, to be honest. Just because it's enjoyable. Like, okay, if we're looking at the tiers in terms of like, watch this shit right now, watch this next, if you want to watch more, and watch if you have nothing better to do, I would rate that a lot higher. I think maybe because it's short as well. And it's like, for the sake of 10 minutes, it is worth watching. Like, I would say watch this shit pretty soon. If you just want a laugh and it's only 10 minutes of your life. It's not like you're investing an hour in a
10
video.
10 minutes of your life.
You're not watching, like, you're not investing an hour and a half of your time to watch an investigation or something. I wouldn't
put it higher than B.
Fine, alright, B. We'll settle for B.
It's not an A tier video.
It's probably not, no. I'm happy with B.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Here is where things get interesting. The Newcastle jail investigation.
Yeah.
We had staff fly all the way from the east coast of Australia to be there for it, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
We had the ability to go to the 1907 lockup as well.
Yes.
Which has never been investigated by the public.
Yeah.
Or anyone. I don't even think the public has access to that building.
No.
So it was opened up for us, which is crazy. We captured some of the most loudest footsteps through that 1907 lockup. We had some really dark communication, and of course another hiss in 2J on that one. Seems to be always happening in 2J.
Mm-hmm.
So we did get some interesting stuff there. It's very difficult for me because I'm surprised that with people knowing that the jail like the jail that is in 2J, everyone always talks about within the community, but with the viewers it didn't do too well.
No.
But we are comparing these now to only 3 months ago to videos that have been up for 12 months. So you know, you can't talk about, oh, it's not the same as 1K, but still we thought it would bang.
Given that the scout of the Newcastle jail is, we were talking about that earlier, it's still climbing, like that's 660 views now, and this is like 350. I'm kind of going, and that's part 1. Part 2 has only got 200 views.
Yeah.
It was really unexpected, to be honest, so I'm not sure what's going on there. How would we rate it, though?
It's put together well.
It is put together well.
The angles of the 1907 lockup look creepy as hell. You guys get some interesting stuff with cat balls choosing which piece of equipment to use, which is interesting.
That was cool, actually.
Look, is it S tier?
No.
But it's not B tier.
No.
It's a strong A.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a strong A.
Yeah.
And it is a hell of a good video, to be honest. It's a hell of a good video.
It is.
It's the only time you're going to see the 1907 lockup in its entirety on the women's and male's wing.
And I think, as well, maybe we didn't get as much evidence at the jail as we expected for a location that's so well known for its paranormal activity. But that said, we have got more than what other teams have in the past.
Correct.
And it was enough, for sure. It's a solid video.
Yeah, and heading into part 2 is where we all split individually into cells.
And that video is so cool, just getting to hear everybody sitting there alone in their own jail cell. And that was so creepy to actually do.
It was creepy.
You can just imagine being shut in one of those little old jail cells with just you and a camera. I mean, you can't hear anybody else.
Well, keep in mind, that was also the video where everyone had a camera that had a light on. I was the only one with an infrared camera. I didn't have a light. So I was in my cell in the pitch black dark.
Yeah.
And that was when I was having all the footsteps around me, and the tires to Derizzi came straight through to me.
Yeah.
And later on, doing the Spirit Talker session in the front of the house, connections to Derizzi left, right, and center.
Yeah.
That was historically accurate with some of those names.
Yeah.
But all in all, the whole cell split was right up there.
Yeah.
I would say that's an S tier video based on the fact of what we did with the separation.
Yeah, it's really cool to watch, and I don't know if it's because the evidence is better than part 1, but I guess it's just something cooler. It's got a bit of fun to it in that sense.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really worth watching. Hey, if you want to see something different, it's a bit special.
Go watch that one. You know, we were like the title says, confined all alone in the haunted jail cells. We were literally all by ourselves with cells separating us in between. We could not. Yeah.
God, how long did it take us to do the sign out for that video?
Oh, the trains kept going past. The bloody trains.
Bloody trains in 2J, hey?
I know. Okay. We then go to our last Kalamunda History Village one with the schoolhouse. We filmed this on a different day. We actually filmed a second location on that day at the post office, but nothing much really happened in the sense that it was so hot, our camera actually shut down on us. It gave us an overheating warning and shut on us. That's how hot this day was. I think it was 39 degrees, and we had the power out in that building, so we turned all the fans off, and we were dying. We were dying.
It was so hot. And I think that was yet another one where we just kind of went a bit loopy in the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think at one point Jaysinn walked in and I was dancing, but the Spirit Talker told me to. Sadly, that one hadn't made the channel, but we hope to do something with it anyway.
Yeah, it was part of our 1 year stream.
It was. But back to the video that we did film for the channel, because the camera allowed us to, was the schoolhouse, which I think is a really cool scout. Personally.
Schoolhouse. Look, it was cool. It was different. We had the phasm in there now. We actually planned to have the phasm in the second visit.
We have learnt from previous scouts that actually adds to the watchability of the video, makes it a bit more enjoyable.
didn't really get a huge amount of stuff.
No, we didn't, unfortunately.
Is it a B tier? I mean, if your Oliver State Part 1 is in C tier, I don't think I could put the schoolhouse above it.
Yeah.
Just based on no evidence, it's mainly just Spirit Talker.
Yeah, that's true. Alright.
So I would say S tier. Is it bottom of S tier? No, but C tier. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Connor's Mill. Hard to film here. There was scratching on the roof. It was a really windy night, and the branch kept scraping on the roof.
Yeah.
So utilizing that top floor became very, very difficult.
This is another one where it was a really cool investigation, but we were very stressed. You in particular, very stressed about how to actually get that across to you guys in the form of a video because of just the challenges that we faced in filming it. So, and I personally think that it came out really well. From
an editing point of view, and I know you guys that watch the videos might not realize the process for editing. It's a hell of a gig when we have that many cameras, and we watch every second of every video for audio, for shadows, for this. This one was a nightmare because that audio scraping was through the entirety of that investigation.
And not only that, we actually filmed on 3 different levels of the building. At one point, all at the same time.
Yeah.
So we had people on every level, which then just added to that nightmare with the audio and the filming.
I remember filming that location on the way home. I was just like, how in the blue hell am I going to actually put this together? But I actually love this investigation.
Same.
Of all the ones that we have filmed in 2J over our time, this is up there for me.
Yeah, same. I think that the video, it is just amazing how well it turned out, which is so good because it was actually a really good investigation.
It was an editor's nightmare.
Yeah.
But the scraping is still there in parts of the video because we couldn't not just go on the top floor. We couldn't just abandon the top floor. We had to go up there.
Especially because in the Scout, which I think has made it to the watch if you have nothing better to do category, unfortunately. So you won't see this, but the Scout, everything we got was on the top floor. We got the footsteps on the top floor. We got the Spirit Talker stuff that was accurate.
Kind of feeling sick.
Yeah. And so that was all top floor. And then to not be able to investigate the top floor would just be crazy.
Yeah.
So we just dealt with the challenges and it was so worth it.
Yeah. I would say this one is where Kana sings and we get the humming between as well. The chair scraping. This isn't the crazy bits of evidence, so I would be more inclined to put part 1 in A tier and part 2 in S tier. That's where I'm looking at, because part 2 is the 3-way split, the crazy stuff happening. Also the footsteps I heard when I was in there with Grazer, and you heard when you were in there with Kana, like when no one else is moving around. That's in part 2 as well.
Yeah.
And then us going up the top with the scraping and asking if that noise is annoying them and getting the yes, no, maybes, and it's saying yes on the cat ball. Yeah. That's all part 2. So part 2 is with a shadow of a doubt S tier.
Yeah.
And part 1 is probably A tier because we get the singing, the humming, disembodied stuff. But it's
definitely a lot less in part 1, but it's still a good watch.
It is a very good watch.
Yeah.
They are part 1 and 2 that you should really, really watch. They are solid videos. But the
views.
But keep in mind, they've been up for not very long at all.
That's true, yeah.
They're very fresh videos on the channel.
And this happens sometimes when part 1 is a bit quiet, like a bit slower. Part 2 just doesn't get the views. And for this one, there's a lot less views for part 2, and we actually think part 2 is the better video. Part 2 is the good stuff. Check it out.
But we should have. This is the time where our algorithm on YouTube would put a Scout video in. Now, we ran an experiment here and we took Kim along, and this is Kim's first time being on the channel. And don't you worry, guys. Kim is back. We have filmed with Kim since, and she absolutely rocked it.
Yeah.
But this video was an experiment when we put in for applying for new investigators. A lot of you guys said you're interested in psychic and mediumship.
Yeah.
So this was us trying to give back to our community because they showed interest in this. And we sent Kim into the mill to pick up on what she picked up with her mediumship. With her mediumship skills that she has.
Yeah, and Kim is someone that we really trust, so know her quite well, really trust her. So it was, and someone who's loves the evidence side of paranormal investigating as well, has that passion.
And she's been following this channel since day dot as well.
True,
so
yeah.
For her to get the invite to come in and do that was really important for her. And she was so nervous because she didn't want to do us bad.
Yeah,
like she was so nervous.
Especially, I think, because we'd kept her in the dark about the whole thing, about where we were going, just everything, hey?
Yeah, we kept her much away from her as we possibly could.
Yeah, yeah.
And she went in there, did her thing, then we did the investigation to see what would come up. And some of her accuracies were there.
Yeah.
You know, they were there. Some of that's what happened. Something of what she did as well. There was nothing in our history books to say that, and that came up on our devices.
Absolutely. The undocumented hanging in part 2, which is actually in the title, Confession of an Undocumented Hanging. That is something that Kim actually picked up on in her walkthrough and mentioned, and she's kind of gone, I don't know. She was like, I never heard of any sort of hanging being a thing in 2J. And nobody was ever hanged at that jail either, at the Newcastle jail. So, it's such a random one, but it did get picked up on. And totally forgot to mention, cool thing in part 2 was that when we got that confession of the undocumented hanging, at least part of it, was our spirit talker got turned on by itself. We turned it off. Turned itself back
that was
on.
after.
It was after the confession? Yeah. Anyway, that was cool. I think we got more information come through. But yeah,
we did in the 3-way level split. Yeah.
How would you rate this video then? It's so different for us. So...
This one's very different. Look, I don't think I could put it in A tier because of evidence captured. It's definitely not a C tier. It's very different, and it ties into evidence captured. I'd put it as a B tier. It's a comfortable B tier.
I think so. I think it's really one that's there as well for people who are interested. For people who are really interested in that sort of content, and particularly with how it fits in with what we do, then that will be one that is a real high on your watch list. But I don't think it's one for everyone necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm on the fence with the psychic mediumship stuff.
Yeah.
I don't not believe it, but I also don't fully believe it either.
Yeah.
So for me, as far as watchable videos for me, this isn't bottom tier because it adds up with some of the evidence captured. But because evidence wasn't captured on this video, that's why I've got it in B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the evidence in that video is from what we caught in the mill.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd say B.
Yeah, I'm tempted to put it in an A because it is really watchable, but yeah, I'd say it's a high B.
It's a high B.
It's interesting. It's something different for us.
Because the evidence wasn't captured on that video.
But we show it.
But it's already on the channel. So based on that, I'm saying it's probably a high B. It's a watchable video. It's a great experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great experiment. But Kim did awesome.
Yeah,
I know she was so nervous, but she rocked it like no one's business.
Absolutely. It was a big ask, and she did great, hey?
She nailed it. So, but we've brought her back.
Yeah.
You guys know that we filmed in Albany, and actually, funny enough, the video that drops after this is the Albany convict jail, and Kim is with us in a different aspect, and it is something you do not want to miss. Kim
returns as a investigator.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Amazing. So shout out to Kim. You've done really well, Kim. Which then, talking about working with other people, this was our Halloween special, the Halloween games with Paranormal Perth with Nikki and Jess.
I love this.
This was so much fun. This was so much fun. Completely different from anything else on the channel.
You were not even sure whether to include that in this little tier list, and I was like, oh, but we have to. It's good. It's funny, really good.
It's funny. It's got real unity from two paranormal teams that share, obviously, some of the same locations and whatnot, but coming together with another team and working with them for just a fun night of games. I've got to put it in A.
I've got to put it in A as well.
Yeah, it's literally fun and games.
It goes against a little bit of what we were saying, though. You know, we're kind of going, oh, but the evidence. Well, you know what? It's not an investigation, so
no.
And it actually has nothing to do with paranormal investigating.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes it okay. Yeah. Is that if you're expecting anything to do with paranormal investigating, don't watch this. If you want a lot of fun, it's a Halloween video. It's two teams, us versus Paranormal Perth, and we come up with some really interesting games. Yeah. It's something that we hope to do every year as well, if we can, and maybe get some more people involved. So yeah, there's some cat ball soccer, because we love kicking cat balls.
Boo bowling.
Yeah.
Bit of everything.
It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Yeah. Our next investigation, the Kalamunda Hotel. Very interesting video. I remember having dinner with you when I got the green light for my cancer treatment. I was in remission.
Yeah, yep.
We went out for a celebrational meal at Kalamunda, and I said to you, I was like, Kat, one day we're going to investigate this place. Never did I think that that day would come this year when we filmed that. But and I'm going to say this with as much hype and paranormal talkings of the Kalamunda Hotel, this was a very quiet night.
It was. There were a few standout pieces of evidence which were cool, but they were few and far between, unfortunately.
And it was very difficult because normally we get access to locations when they're closed. This one we had to do half of it when they were open, and unfortunately we didn't get to certain parts. We didn't get to spend as much time in certain parts that we wanted to spend time in. And
although we got it while it was closed for half of it, we did have staff still packing up and stuff like that downstairs. So it was quite a lot of audio contamination that we were contending with, and just restrictions and that, which probably did impact what we were able to do and how much evidence we were able to get as well.
I'm going to go out on a whim here, and I would put that in C tier.
I'm not sure about that, because it is still a nice video to watch. Like, would you put it below some of those that are in C tier already?
We got access to the bathroom that had the weird spirit box thing that we're still trying to debunk.
The weird spirit box thing is weird. Like, it's really weird. It is really weird.
Look, I'll make an argument for it to go into B tier, but it wouldn't be higher.
No, I'd put it in B.
B?
Yeah.
B.
Just because, like, it's still, like, I would still recommend it to people that if they want to watch more of our channel, check it out, because the history is good, and it's well filmed, and it's well put together.
Despite the noise contamination, we did our best. Yeah.
It's a nice watch. It shows what we do as a team. It just wasn't... Yeah, it just didn't hit the mark.
Well, we moved next to our scout of the Albany convict jail. This was fun.
This was a lot of fun.
I said a line of the century that I don't know how made it to the final cut.
What did you say? Oh!
I'm not going to say it again.
No, you're going to have to watch the video to find that one.
That was
a Easter egg in there.
That was a little choice of words I used. But it was good. We got to really learn the history. We got to go in the black hole. We put this out. As kind of like this is the location of what to expect for when we drop our first video in 2025 at the Albany Convict Jail investigation. And like, this really sets the tone of getting a hands-on and how big the location is and how much ground we have to cover. The cells, the history, the dark side of things.
Yeah,
and when we do the investigation, we actually know more than what we did on the Scout. So, and it becomes huge, really huge. Yeah. So it's a good, fun video. We get scared by pigeons and other stuff happens. It's entertaining. It isn't, as far as scouts are concerned, it's entertaining.
It is entertaining, but I'd still have to put it in B.
Correct.
Because it is, again, it's very history heavy, which is amazing for a scout.
That's what you want in a scout.
It's a lot of fun, but it's not happening with paranormal activity, so...
Correct.
Still worth a watch. It really sets the scene for what we're up against at Albany.
Yeah, it does. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. It is crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Which ends our year with our kind of December drops.
Final location of the year is the
2J
Bakery.
Part 1, we had Holly with us.
Yep.
Holly was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, thank you, Holly.
She did a great job.
She did a great job. She added a lot to that video in the sense of, what the hotspots are, what's happened there, what to expect from spirits.
Yeah, and we had some really good feedback on that as well. And
people liked Holly, and we're glad we had her with us.
Yeah, and we hope to be able to do a little bit more of that based on the feedback. Is actually have some staff at locations that can really vouch for activity that's happened. Tell us a bit more about the activity that's happened there, because Holly did such a great job at it, and we got really good feedback on that.
Where would you put it? Part 1.
Oh, so
we had noise contamination with fridges. We had more spirit talker. We did an EVP that we didn't capture anything specifically.
I would have to put, I think, part 1 in A tier.
I think A tier because it is. Despite the fridges and that, I got my butt touched, which was interesting. Twice.
The footsteps as well, just running around, and I think the fact that what we were picking up on did corroborate what Holly had said and experienced. I think that
Mary
made that video really work as well.
It's very watchable. It's very watchable.
It is very watchable.
But then we come down to part 2, our latest video before this. Insane.
Yeah.
Dead Bell shines.
Yeah.
The Dead Bell is just really comes into full effect. You saw it at Kalamunda Hotel, and it didn't go off when we put it on the counter. This was the investigation that was chronologically filmed before Kalamunda Hotel, and we got the bell especially for this location. And there's a reason we did, because it stole the show.
Oh,
it really, really showed that we could not debunk that thing.
I also heard like one of the freaking weirdest disembodied voices or noises that I have ever heard, and that shook me so much. Like, it didn't like scare me, terrify me, but I was just I was shaken after that. I think you can see that there's not much more that I did.
Yeah, I felt bad and being told to leave.
Yeah, you felt awful.
You can see me like staring a hole through Kat when they're saying they're not looking great. Then I just completely perked right back up after leaving there.
Yeah.
It told us to get out in the SDs. It's a very watchable video, very well put together video, and equipment going nuts.
Yeah.
So I think S tier.
Yeah. Watch this shit right now.
Which is funny, because that's all of it, right? That's all of it.
Yeah.
When you look at all the S tier ones, except for that very last investigation, it's the girls. The thumbnail's all the girls. It's all the girls.
That's what you noticed from that, is it? Yeah.
But I'm looking at them. They're solid videos. Like, they are actually solid videos. They're the ones that you really need to get on. Looking at this is one massive reflection, especially now it's the end of 2024. We worked out that we have filmed 17 videos in this year. There was times where we were doing like 3 investigations, I think, in 2 weeks at one point in time. Oh my God, we did Albany 3 investigations in 1 weekend. Yeah. We went absolutely nuts this year. And I think looking back at all the content we've ever filmed and seeing it laid out and us being able to talk about it makes me realize how proud of this content I actually am.
Yeah, and I want you guys to know as well that we did not talk about these tiers before we did this.
No, we just hit record.
Yeah, in fact, we came up with this idea last night. So
Yeah.
we have not sat there and worked out, oh, we want to have this many in this tier. No, this is like spur of the moment, and this is what we came up with. And I think it's actually really, really like quite informative for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 in the top tier, 6 in the bottom, and everything else sort of in between.
But it's a good reflection of where we're at and our art,
It is.
you know. But I don't think I've ever been prouder of some of the content I've made. I mean, I've been doing content creation for a long time now. And this, for me, is like, holy. And we still have filmed a lot more that hasn't come out yet, that we have put together and is waiting in the wings to drop in the early 2025. And I'm telling you right now, it is some of the best shit we've done.
Yeah.
And it shows that arc from the start to where we're going, and 2025 is going to be an insane year for the Afterlife Party.
I think that like if we were to do this again in 6 months' time with all the content that we know we already have filmed ready for you guys, this top tier, this S tier, is going to be a lot fuller.
Yeah.
It is, hey? Without a doubt, there's going to be a lot more videos that we have to put up there. So I can't wait.
2025 is going to be a big year for the Afterlife Party, and I think it's at this point we say, you know, thank you very much for all of your support through 2024 and previous. In 2023, since we launched in July, and July 30, 2023, I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
It's also the weekend we filmed Freemasons. I'll never forget that weekend. But I never thought at this point in time we would have filmed out some of these locations. Newcastle Jail, Kalamunda Hotel, the places we only dreamed of filming at.
Yeah.
And we got them this early on in our channel's history. It's a showcase of exactly what we have managed to accomplish. And it's still kind of that shock value of what we have done, but we couldn't have done it without all of you guys. All of you guys,
and all of our locations as well, who we are so grateful to, and all of you guys who are watching our content all year. It means so much to us.
Yeah.
Keep up the views, the likes, and your comments. The comments really keep us going. So thank you so much for that. It's really nice for people to engage with us.
Your feedback is appreciated. It helps mold the channel.
It does, yeah. So keep it up, guys. And that's us for 2024.
Yep.
Wishing you all a really happy new year. And we will see you again in 2025.
Yes, we'll see you in 3 days. A big 3 days.
3 days time. Whoa.
Yeah, this is jumping up on the 29th of December, so in 3 days time is New Year.
No, they won't see us yet.
Oh yeah,
like,
but
not for another.
Oh, we'll post on Facebook. We'll be somewhere in the world of the internet.
We will be. We'll be around.
We've got nowhere else to go. All right, guys. This is up there with terrible outros that we're getting really good at now.
Yeah, we are.
All right, should we just hit the stop button?
I think so. All right. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!